In Module 3 this week, we're going to be talking about Benjamin Bloom, and his taxonomy of objectives, which is one of the most exciting things, in my opinion, in teaching. So let's jump right in here. Over the past couple weeks, we've covered the idea of childhood development and learning processes, and looking specifically at student-specific intelligences. And now we're going to kind of focus more on Benjamin Bloom and his taxonomy of questioning and assessing students. So we can kind of see here a upside down diamond, if you will. And the idea here is that when we start at the bottom, a lot of times when we question students or we ask them to illustrate or prove their understanding on a certain topic, that we just simply ask them to list or find or name, to define, to describe something that we've taught them. But a lot of times we never really hit up here to create something, or up here to design or build, showing that they understand what you have taught them, to examine or organize, compare and contrast. And so our movement up this graph here allows us to better analyze our students' thinking, to give them different ways to show that they really understand, rather than just simply memorizing and restating the things that we have told them. So this really impacted me as a teacher in making sure that I was providing quality assessments throughout my lessons, quality questioning throughout my assessments, and the things that I was having them do, I really ran through a graph much like this, thinking, okay, am I just asking them to tell me that they can remember or understand concepts over and over, rather than actually applying this new info or evaluating something that I have taught them? So let's jump on in here. Here are our course objectives for this module. And then the things that we're going to be doing, of course, we are going to read a little bit more about Benjamin Bloom through his bio and figure out who he really was as a person before we dive into his theory. And then we're going to read some about his taxonomy for learning, teaching, and assessing. Watch video lecture materials. Participate in a discussion. I'm excited about this discussion. And then you're going to have a time to personally reflect and share that with me. And then how we are going to apply this topic to our ever-evolving unit. So let's keep on going here. You can see here our Module 3 lecture materials, and we can see here the biography. And what I want you to do as you're reading this biography of Benjamin Bloom is to really understand where he came from, what part of the world, what time in the world he was being raised in, academically, what type of things was he interested in, and then that allows us to really understand his theory a little bit more. Here is 3 different videos that walks us through Bloom's taxonomy a little bit more, and then how we can apply that in our class. This specific one is e-learning with Bloom's revised taxonomy, and I know that a lot of us are K-12 educators, but as times change, more and more of us are going to be teaching and assessing over the internet and over online classes. So it's just, it's short, it's just something for us to consider. As we are moving through here, we can see our reading reflection. One single space type page, like always. I want you to reflect on how you have seen or used poor assessment techniques. We've all seen it. We've all done it. We've all used poor assessment techniques. Just reflect. How have you seen or personally used poor assessment techniques in your classroom? And then also how have you seen or used best practices? Now that you know a little bit more about Benjamin Bloom and his taxonomy, you have the ability to kind of be a critical thinker. What has been good? What has been bad? And then you are going to submit that by Sunday at midnight. Here is a rubric. Before you submit, you can look at that. Our next activity here is our online discussion, and our debate topic this week is young learners high thinking. Can a kindergarten or first grade student really hit some of those higher levels of thinking? There are two sides that you can side with. I don't care which one you side with. I just want you to back up your thinking through things that we have learned through videos or through readings. You're going to make your initial post by Wednesday at midnight, and then you are going to post on 2 other classmates by Sunday at midnight. Our last thing here is, after you have gone through the discussions and the videos and the readings, how are you going to take this and change the unit that you posted at the beginning of this 7-week course? How is this going to affect your teaching in that unit? And so what you're going to do is you're going to go back into that unit, change some things, showing that you've taken this to heart, that you understand, and that it has affected your future teaching. And then you're just going to share in about a paragraph how this thinking has altered your unit and how you'll be presenting information to your students in the future. This first one is, your initial post is due by Friday at midnight, and then over the course of the weekend, by Sunday at midnight, go ahead and respond to 2 other classmates. Again, we would like to know what each other's thinking, because sometimes what someone else is thinking is a really good idea, and maybe you want to steal it, or it makes you think a different way by listening to what your peer has experienced or they're thinking. And so that is why we take part in so many discussions in this course. To wrap up, we can see that we have a reading reflection due, our debate, and then our unit application. As always, I'm excited to see these debates, to see how you are thinking and reflecting through this module. If you have any questions, please let me know via email, and I will get back to y'all promptly.